Welcome to week 3 of the HOA book. It's Dennis DUCE and Jen Foster. We're joining you to move through a little bit more and Jen, what are some of the things that we've covered in the last few weeks so far?
Well, we have gone over the beginning. The first one we talked about just what is a Hangout on Air, what is a HOA, and then we talked a lot about Google Plus and the power of searching and local directories. We talked about branding your business or yourself, and that was the first one. On the second one, we talked more about the tools and how you manage Hangouts, and talked about some of the things you can do when you're in there. Yeah, so I think we're up to talking more today about Google Hangouts, on finishing up on what you need with cameras, and then moving on to promoting your Hangout and how you get people to come. So that's kind of
for doing that while you were. I had to reboot 2 minutes before the show was supposed to go live, so please forgive everyone, or please forgive me, everyone. Don't forgive yourselves. I don't know how that works. All right, so we're going to talk about cameras, and I've set something up here. A little, fortunately, and but I think it'll still make the point off after, because it's obviously lagging my computer down. Let's show you what it is that I've set up here. Right now, you're looking at me through the same camera you have every week so far. This is the Logitech 920C camera that I'm using currently, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you various cameras that I have, and I'm also going to show you some differences in distance with cameras, moving back and those kinds of things. So let's start off with this one. This is Logitech 920C. This is the camera that I recommend everyone get, and this is not an expensive camera, but it makes a huge difference in the quality of your image, as you can see right now. This camera right here, we'll get back to that in a minute. With this camera angle, it's also a 920C, and it's just showing the distance from my cameras. We'll talk about that in a minute. This one right here, this is my Logitech 520C. It's a lower quality camera, and you can see the difference in how grainy it is. Both of these are broadcasting at the same resolution, but there's definitely a difference. Also, the 520C is a little bit closer on your face, whereas this is more actual distance. And then the last one, this is the camera that's on my laptop, and you know, it's not bad image-wise. It's nearly as good as this one, the 920C, but the problem is it lags more, and most laptop cameras do that. Many laptop cameras are kind of fuzzy and gray looking. I highly recommend you do not use the camera that comes on your computer. I highly recommend that you use the camera, use a add-on USB camera. It'll make a huge difference in how you look on your show. Jen, could you see the difference as I was going through those?
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple that looked a little bit the same, but you could see a difference.
Yeah. So, and then the last one is this 920C right here. What I'm pointing out here is just the distance from the camera. Many people comment that I sit really far back from my computer, and compared to a lot of people, I do. I personally feel that when you're a little further back and you're a little smaller and there's more surrounding you, you tend to be more approachable. It's a personal belief. I've got no scientific theory on this. I just tend to be back. But what I'm wanting to point out here is it's not that much back. I mean, I'm not that far. I'm just barely more than an arm's distance from the cameras, whereas, you know, normally people would bring their computer to here like that. that's pretty normal, and let's show you how much closer that makes me right there. Okay, so back to where but, you know, who am I? I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think it does look better when you're back a little bit.
Oh, my headphones came unplugged when I moved the computer back in place. Yeah, so that's pretty much it on cameras. Just I recommend you spend the little bit of money to upgrade to a better camera. And also the better cameras with the lighting that we talked about last week, that's going to be like a double whammy and really get you looking really good. Again, we could do what we did last week. Put me on the lower quality camera here and turn off my lights, and you'll see it just gets darker, really dark. And so, you know, little things make a difference, and they don't need to be that expensive.
Right.
All right. So that covers cameras.
Awesome.
Okay, we want to talk about bringing in guests to your HOA. Okay, so let me show you the way that I prefer to bring guests into the HOA. You know what? Hang on. I am going to turn off XSplit Broadcaster and change directly to the camera straight into the HOA. Okay. There, now I shouldn't be lagging anymore. Okay, that's better. All right. That was just a processing thing. I had too many cameras running into the computer at once, and I just wanted to make a point, so point is made, so we turned it off. All right, so the way that I bring people into the guests who are going to be in the film strip. Again, the film strip is the portion right down here. It's the lower film strip, and those are the people who are going to be able to talk and you know, be a part of the conversation. What I do as soon as I've got in myself to the HOA, then I come up here and I click on this, and you can send an invitation here. What I have found, and I stopped about 6 months ago using this send invitation because they were changing where it went all the time, and it got really confusing. So what I do is I copy this link, and then I close that. Then I will go over to, let me unscreen share and screen share the other monitor. I'll go over to Google Plus, and I'll go, okay, I want to share this with Jen Foster, and there. Now I've sent it off, and Jen has it. Now, if you're inviting in a guest who does not often join in HOAs and is not active on Google Plus, I would recommend that you take that same link and either email it to them or text it to them, something like that. Of course, it's a very long link, so if you're texting it to them, make sure that they're planning on coming in via cell phone. Otherwise, you know, it's going to be very complicated to try and cut that or write that link into you know, the search engine.
Right.
So that's how I invite people. Jen, you've done a lot of HOAs. Do you do anything different? How do you invite people in?
I usually just do the same. I use the invite people link on the top. I'll sometimes just fill in the, you know, the email there, and it comes up. It's usually what email is in your contact list. So if you don't have their email, you know, it's not going to work. I've also just, if you want it to be public and you want everyone to come or a lot of people to come, then you can share the link on Facebook or Twitter or in Google Plus, and that works as well. I've also just sent the email link just by itself. So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good deal. All right. Next thing on our outline here, promoting your Hangout on Air. Okay, so this is going to get in depth. There's a lot of things that you can do to promote your Hangout on Air. Of course, first and foremost, you got to create the Hangout on Air, which we talked about last week, and that's going to create some promotion on Google+.
Mm-hmm.
And you can augment the promotion on Google+ a number of different ways. Jen, we didn't talk about how in-depth and hands-on we really want to go with the promotion stuff here.
I think we just want to first just cover the beginning, like how would we start promoting? What are the small steps to take? And then if we want to dive a little bit deeper, then we can.
Okay. So the first one that we've got here is Facebook. And I am not a huge user of Facebook. I used to be, but I have slowed down considerably in the last 2 years as I have taken on more and more time spent here on Google+. But one thing that I have noticed is that trying to get people on Facebook to come to a live event on Google+ has not, for me, been successful. Jen has brought in a couple of people, which that's the first time ever, so I want Jen to touch on that. But my recommendation, aside from whatever Jen says, is to actually share your YouTube link after the fact, because you're more likely to get Facebookers to engage with a YouTube video than you are to get them to come on to Google+ as a platform.
Right.
Jen, what other...
Yeah, what I've found is that if you're promoting your Hangout on Air through Facebook, if you don't have quite a few hours in advance, then when you do share that link or share that YouTube video or whatever you're sharing, the link for them to come and join you or to watch you, they're not going to, because most Facebook users are popping in and out all day long. So if you just promote it, 15 minutes before, or like you would on Google+, they're not going to see it, or they're not going to, they're pretty much not going to see you until after it started, or they're going to be busy doing other things. So the way that I have had success on Facebook, is to create a Facebook event days before you're going to be doing the Hangout, and then updating that event with the people that you've invited and those who you think would be interested in coming to your Hangout. Only inviting those people, and not the people who they have to work, they're going to be busy at that time. You're not going to invite those people. So having the Facebook event and only inviting those who would be interested and who would have the time to come and watch is a good way to do it, of course, days and days in advance, so that they can plan and put it in their calendar. And then the other way that I've had success on Facebook is sharing the link in different groups. Now, if you're on Facebook, you know that a Facebook page for your business, when you post something, not all the people who have liked your page are going to see that post. If you have a Facebook group, which is a group of people or individuals in a special group, similar to Google+ Circle, they're in a specific group. Those people are going to see your post when you post a link to your Google+ Hangout, because they're going to get a notification. So if the Facebook user is used to reading their notifications and looking at their notifications, they're going to see that and come and check you out, or see the post and decide if they're going to come to your Hangout or not. So those are the ways that I do on Facebook, and I've had a little bit of success with that. We had a few people come in last time. But for the most part, Facebook isn't going to be real time like right now. So like Dennis said, if you just put the YouTube link, then they can watch that after. I think when I shared it, I did the YouTube link, and it was cool because it said to come right now to join us. But then, of course, as soon as our Hangout's over, then that YouTube video will be just a video, not for them to watch it live, but to watch it after it happened. So that's kind of neat too, because it will still be in your Facebook timeline, showing that you were in that Hangout.
Yeah, that's great. I love the idea of the Facebook event. that's a really great way to go ahead and promote these. Okay, Twitter. Again, not my strength, not my forte. You know, my original thought would be to tweet and tweet often, but you've got to have a following for anything to really work on Twitter.
Right.
Jen, do you have any other thoughts besides just sharing the link to YouTube?
On Twitter, it's kind of the same as Facebook, although more Twitter users are checking it more frequently. So, to me, you'd want to actually be where you're, posting before the Hangout, after the Hangout, during the Hangout, and posting often, like you said. You know, tweeting a lot, and tweeting, what's happening while you're in there. And like Dennis said, if you don't have a big Twitter following, it's not going to be that big of a deal if you post or not. Of course, you want to put that in your social media and put the links there. But if you don't have that big of a following, you're not going to get much action from that.
Yeah. Yep. Google Plus, of course, there's, just getting the event out. Then there's a number of things that you can do within the event within Google Plus. Let me screen share to show some of these. Because each one does something different. So you can share the event. And if you share the event, this is going to be like a reshare into your stream. Okay? So, this can be any event. It doesn't have to be your event. You can reshare any event from the share button right there. So that's one way that you can get more people out, is to reshare it, a little bit before. And I always reshare within the hour before I go live, because I also need the comment tracker links that we talked about last week, which you get from that reshare. The next thing that you can do is you can invite people right here. And when you invite people, it opens up all your circles, and you can decide who it is that you're wanting to invite. Now, depending on a number of different things, you will probably be able to invite somewhere between 25 and 150 people at a given time in a single invite, and probably a total of 500 in a day. So now this is going to notify these people in their notifications, telling them that they have been invited to this event, and they're going to, then be able to come to it, and it's going to say that you invited them. You don't have any way of adding any kind of note to this invite, but be cautious of invites, and don't go inviting people that you don't know well, or have not engaged with your content in the past, or have not engaged with a previous HOA you've done, because this can be seen as spam if done too much. It's a really great way. I do it every week. So when I say it can be seen as spam, don't get the wrong idea. Every single HOA I do, I invite people using the invite feature. But I'm careful. I create very specific circles of people who have engaged with the HOA in the past. I use Circloscope to do that, which we talked about in the first week, to create those circles of the people who have engaged in the event. And that allows me to share directly with those people. The other thing that you can do with an event, and I did it earlier today, again using Circloscope I did this, you can actually get the names of all the people who have engaged with the event in the past. And then you can put them into a text doc, and then cut and paste them in here, and plus mention those people. I often do this also about an hour before the show. I did it an hour and a half before the show. Here, I'm not screen sharing, am I?
Not right now.
Share. There we go. All right. So you can see here, here's all the people that have engaged with the book HOA events in the past 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I just grabbed those using Circloscope, copied and pasted them into here, and that gave them a notification. So they actually get told, hey, Dennis Plus mentioned you. And that allows them to get notified. So that's another way that you can promote your HOA using Google Plus.
So I have a question for you, Dennis.
Yeah.
And it looks like I think I know the answer, but so I did do what Dennis just talked about, and I decided to go ahead and invite my business contacts, my business circle, to the event today. And I noticed when he's screen sharing there and when I'm looking on my event that it shows the people who are watching now, and it shows the maybes, and it shows those who have not responded, but it does show if they viewed the email.
Yes.
So it's public information now, and I don't really want to take, put this in the limelight, but everyone can see all my contacts now that are my business contacts. Just curious, it's very public information, but I just want to make sure that, that's how it is, and you can't take that off, right?
Correct. That's how it is. You can't take it off.
So good to know for when you are inviting people, it is public invitation.
Yes.
So similar to Facebook, when you invite people to Facebook events or Facebook groups, it shows, well, Facebook you can turn it on or off, but if it's defaulted to, you're showing people who's been invited.
Yeah, and let me just screen share what she's talking about. I'm not going to go into this because we'll show even more of your contacts, but yeah, it shows you who's watching, who said yes, who said maybe, and who's not responded yet.
Right.
Okay. And yeah, that's
it's interesting.
Yeah.
And then just to kind of, might as well make this authentic and real, just to let you know, I did get an email right back from one of those people who said, please take me off of your promotional list, which is fine, and I took her off because, and she's also someone who I was talking about before, she's busy working, she doesn't have time to sit through an HOA, so removing her from that contact list. So you might want to, this is a learning experience for me, so next time I might want to create a list specifically for those who I know would want to come and have time to come at this time and who might be interested in actually learning this information instead of just sending it to everyone.
Yeah, we talked about circles earlier in this series, but let me go back to circles because what you're talking about is really important stuff, and I think it needs to be touched on specifically as it pertains to Hangouts on Air. So I'm going to screen share here again. And so here's how you get into and manage your circles, okay? You come to your drop-down menu, and there's circles right next to the word people. You click on that, and that opens all of your circles. Maybe it opens all your circles. Okay, so at the top are people that are suggested for you, and then so forth. You have people that have you in your circles, and you have your circles, okay? And these are all the circles you have. So what I want to point out here is that I have created, for example, I've got a circle called HOA Business Branding Book. This is a circle of people who have engaged favorably in the event. Okay? And each week I grab the people who have engaged favorably in the event. Again, I use Circloscope to do that, and I don't know that I want to get into that right now, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little video showing how I do that in Circloscope. There will be a link in the book.
Okay.
So people can go see how to circle manage for an HOA using Circloscope. But I then have other, and this one has 80 people in it. I need to break it down because I can't send more than 50 invites, so I can't actually invite that circle. So I need to make one circle of 50 and one of 30. Okay? But I've got, here's Network Roundtable. This is my main show. Okay? And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 circles pertaining to Network Roundtable. These are the people who most fully engage, and I need to update those circles. I probably will get up to 8 or 9 circles. Those are what I call outbound circles. These are circles that I'm going to send information to them. Okay? Google Plus doesn't see a difference between an inbound and an outbound circle, but the way you think of them changes. So if you are trying to invite people to the HOA, then creating these circles to allow you to do that is really a productive thing to do. Did that help with the insight that you had this morning?
Yeah, that helped me a lot with learning and understanding how this really works, you know?
Okay. So, next, Blogger. You put that in. I've never even used Blogger, Jen.
Okay, well, let me talk about it then.
You talk about Blogger.
Okay, Blogger is just simply a blog that you get free if you have a Google account. So some people, or it used to be called Blogspot, it still kind of is. Blogger, I don't know the full history, but from what I gather, Blogger was a separate company, Blogspot was a separate company, Google acquired Blogger, and now it's one thing. So if you type in blogger.com or blogspot.com, you're going to get the same thing, and it's simply your blog using your Google account. So, let's see, I think I have, let me open mine and then I can screen share. I think I have access to it on here, the one that I've been using to post blogs. And I did this promotion last time. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, so I will show you what I do when I'm doing this. Okay, so let me share my screen, and I think this one is the right one. Can you see my screen? Do you see you?
No, I'm seeing, oh yes, now I see me.
Okay, do you see my Blogger?
Yep.
Okay, so if I just type in blogger.com, I'm going to get, if you've already set one up, you're going to get this, which shows which blogs you have, if you can write on them or not. If you click on the blog, let's say view blog, then you're going to see the blog. You can brand it, of course, to your business or to yourself. And here's all the blogs I've ever written, right? It archives it really well. So you've got here all the way back to 2012 when I started it, and going on. So every week what I've been doing is doing a new, writing this little writer pen here, new blog, and then posting the information that Dennis sends me about, you know, the links of getting on the blog. So promoting the blog. So I can probably take out live in just 10 minutes because that won't be pertinent. And then probably want to copy the name of the event. So we can get that from my email for the title. So we have a title, you have the information, just to brand it. So you probably want to put in a few tags. You can also schedule it if you want to backdate it or forward date it. And then also location. It's good to put in your location because that will put you on the map. And then you can publish. So now we can, you can, and it always wants you to share it on Google Plus, of course. So it's going to share your blog on Google Plus. And then you can view that blog, and there it is. And I have a really funny face in that picture. So
Yeah,
anyway.
we'll change the thumbnail after the show is over.
Well, it actually updates as you're watching.
Yeah, it does.
So when I go back to the event, it changes. So I will stop my screen share, but that's pretty much how you go about doing a blog post or Blogger. Use Blogger. I use Blogger all the time for all of my clients to help promote them, and it's just one more place to add your content.
Yeah, and you know, that's basically, so I do the same thing on my WordPress site.
Yes.
But you definitely want to promote this outside of just Google Plus.
Right. Well, and talking about that, so Dennis uses WordPress for his blog. So you can have multiple blogs with the same posts. So I have a blog on my website for my web design website, and I have a WordPress blog as well. So you just want to put it in all the places that you have set up.
Yes. You do want to make sure you don't have duplicate content.
That's true too. So you want to reword it a little bit, change up some of what it really says. You could even have hire article writers or people who change. You know, send them the post or the original article you're going to, and they will switch it up and make it sound better and make it so it's not the same content.
So yeah, it's a good idea to do that, and then that allows you to do things like, you know, if you have an email marketing campaign, then you can go ahead and email out the link, and you can email the link to your blog post instead of emailing to Google+. And this allows, first of all, traffic to your website, which is very beneficial, but it also means that the brain fart. Oh, the people who are not on Google+, are still going to be able to engage with it. One thing that I make certain and do is have the link back to Google+, because if somebody's watching it live on my website and all of a sudden they're like, this is cool, I want to engage, then, you know, they know how to get there because the link is there and prominent, so they can jump back over to Google+. But many people may have to sign in, they may not have used Google+, any number of things. So by putting it outside of Google+, you increase the potential viewership considerably.
Right. That's right.
All right. So next thing we've got here is to talk a little bit about branding, cover images, and description. I
think we want to start with just branding in general. So we talked a little bit about this on week 1, but we want to talk about branding on how you brand yourself or your business and how you can use the point of the Google Plus Hangout is to brand yourself or to brand your business that you are the go-to person or the person who knows how to, or you know, whatever your industry is. So for instance, we were talking about doing a Google Plus Hangout for a local business here that sells hot tubs. So, you know, doing that Hangout, we want to brand that company with their logo and their information as the go-to people for hot tubs. So if you're an individual, like a consultant or a coach or a speaker, then of course you're going to be branding yourself so that you are your logo and your face, and you are branded all over the Google Hangout and for the event. So that's kind of what we want to talk about a little bit more. I don't know if Dennis has anything more to add to that, but we want to talk about that a little bit, and then we're going to dive into more of the, you know, cover images and description and how to brand yourself with that.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's exactly right. You want to make certain that, especially if you're going to be doing a show that's going to be happening over a period of time, that all of the banners feel like they pertain to each other and they thereby pertain to your brand. Now, when Jen and I did this series, my colors are purple and green, and Jen's are like rust and gold, aren't they?
Yeah, orange and I have all different social media colors and then orange. So yeah, it's like a darker orange.
Yeah, darker orange, kind of a burnt umber almost, but not that dark. Um, and so instead, since we were talking about Google Plus and Google products, I branded this to Google-ish colors instead of using our colors. And you can see that uh, in all of the graphics that we have created for this show. Let me just screen share again so you can see. So we've got the logos from the Google Hangouts and Google Plus down here, and then we've carried those colors into the other things that we've done, so that it kind of feels like it reminds you of Google, hopefully. But at least it flows together. Each of the pieces that we've created have a similar feeling. And that way, when you're looking through the stream of events, when somebody's looking through events, they will see, oh yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. Here it is right here. And then as we scroll down, looking for other ones, you'll see the past events show up quite quickly because they stand out. There's, week 3. So, that's one thing you want to make certain and do is have a constant feel, especially to the banner, because the banner is the most important graphic piece that you've got. And the size of that banner is 1200 by 300.
Okay.
So just, make certain that you design to that. Now, of course, there's many ways to go about making those banners. Photoshop, if you're really good at it, that's a good way to do it. I actually make my banners in the free Google Drawing tool. And it doesn't have all the features that something like Photoshop has, but I don't have a copy of Photoshop, and so I use what's available to me. And so, you can create your banners. The other image that you need is a YouTube thumbnail, which I designed that to be 1200 or 1280 by 720. It's actually a little smaller, but YouTube handles the size change perfectly. Do you know the actual size of that YouTube thumbnail?
Yeah, I think I just made one. I just made one last night. Let me look really quick. Let's see. I think it is. Let's see if I can push edit on here and see if I can see what it is. Let's see. Sorry about that.
No, that's all right.
That's beautiful music. Okay, it is. Well, it's not letting me do it. There we go. Oh, it's not going to tell me.
Okay.
No, I think you were pretty close on what you said.
I mean, the ratio is the same. It's a 16 by 9 ratio. And so 1280 by 720 is a 16 by 9 ratio graphic image. So I create that, and then I also create for each episode a Instagram size, which is a square graphic that also looks similar. And mostly I create that because the way my WordPress blog is set up, the thumbnail from the blog uses a square orientation wherever it shows up around my website. So I make that the main image on the page so that it shows up right. So, there's a number of different graphics that you may want to make as part of uh, putting on an HOA.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I have a fun tool that I use. If you want a free tool that doesn't cost money, or if you don't have Photoshop or you don't want to go have to learn Photoshop, I know a lot of people get really frustrated with even just sizing images on their PC, just using the edit, you know, the mic, whatever that's called, the editor for pictures, or even someone was telling me they were using Paint to edit their pictures, and that's really difficult to use, or at least to get the results you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very good tool. So here's a tool that I use, and I really like it. So I'll share my screen again. It's called Canva. That's CANVA.com. You can tell me if you can see that. Can you see that?
Not yet. Yep, there it is.
Okay, so you can log in with your Facebook account. That's what I do. And here they have, you can start a new design, and they'll give you the dimensions. So here's a Google Plus they have right here somewhere. Google cover, 1240 by 700. So, you know, you could use that for all sorts of different things. Of course, you can use custom dimensions here. But when you click on that, it's going to open a new screen. And it has examples. You can just choose one of theirs. I mean, it's so awesome. You know, I don't know what you want to promote, but say we just want to, you know, click something really cool. They're going to put that on there. We can change the words by just clicking on them and changing the words, or click on the text and change, you know, how we want it to look. We want this one instead, so we can delete the other one, trash can, and then change, you know, what this says. So it's kind of cool.
That's cool.
So it's pretty cool. You can play around with it. Of course, that Bob Marley needs to come out of there, so you're going to have to, don't know how that got in there. That was underneath, I think. So kind of cool. You can change the picture, whatever, and then you can download it here, share it, anything you want to do. So it's pretty cool. You can play around with it. It's free. And then change the background, or just, you know, whatever we want. We can make the, where did it, oh, did it go? It went on top of it. Look at that. There we go. Got to delete this one. So you can just play around with it and see, you know, how you want to do it. But it does a lot of crazy stuff. You just got to play around with it. Here's the X. There we go. And there's the delete on that one. See, you
now
I'm
seeing a Canva watermark.
Yeah, it's got an overlay on it. It's got like 3 pictures. See, and I think it says Canada, honestly. So you just have to play around with it until you figure out how it works. You know, I don't play that often with it, so you know, of course, pink's not going to work on that. So
no.
I probably want to change that to white. So as you can see, you can play around with it and make it how you want. Of course, that picture doesn't look good. So there you go.
Cool.
Anyway, that you can play around with it. It's still got the Canada back there, but as you can tell, you can download it. Most of it's free, and it's really cool. I've done a lot of images there, and something quick if you want to play around instead of having to pay someone to build your photos for you.
Yeah, that is really cool. I'm going to need to play around with that. One thing that that I have to do on a regular basis, because it's a good idea if you're going to have a guest on your HOA, it's a good idea to put their profile picture.
Mm-hmm.
But a square profile picture looks kind of weird. If you make it round, if you make it a circle, it looks a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And so I use an app called PicMonkey to do that, which is similar to Canva.
Right.
More robust in some areas and less in others. And I'm sure there's a way to do this on Canva, but let me just show you how I do this on PicMonkey. PicMonkey, again, is also free. Okay, and you come in here, you go Edit, and you're going to pick the picture Let's just go to my guests and pick any picture. It doesn't really matter. Give them a second to show up. Okay, let's go ahead and pick Angela. And then you come in here to the frames on the left-hand side, and you go to rounded corners, and then you just slide this slider all the way over, hit transparent, apply, and save. And now
Awesome.
you've got a round image, and that's going to look a whole lot better. It will save it as a PNG, so none of this corner will show up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really fast tool for creating circle images.
Awesome.
So, all right. Well, branding, cover images, description. Okay, so a couple of things that you need to know about description. And you know, there's a lot of various ways that you can do a description, but let's just cover some of the things that I think are most important. This right here, in my opinion, is the most important thing in there. Now, you want to open up with a good description of what it is you're doing, okay? And that line right there should probably change. This part up here should probably change from week to week if you're doing a weekly show. Oh, I just noticed here, Thomas mentioned GIMP. That's another one that's similar to the two that we were showing. Thomas asked for post a link to which one, PicMonkey or Canva. Let us know there, Thomas. Okay, so after the description up here, the opening line description, I put something regarding, you know, this is a link to watch it on your phone or tablet. The problem is that you can't watch an HOA in Google Plus on your tablet. You can only watch it on YouTube on your tablet or your phone. And so people need a link very close to the top where they can go and watch it on YouTube. So this really is just a link to YouTube. In fact, if you notice, it's exactly the same link as the one that says catch up on the YouTube video. Okay, but people are looking for those two pieces of information for different reasons. This is people who want to see it live on their phone. This is people who want to watch it later and prefer YouTube. So I put both of those links in. Then I also put this link in, and the reason I do that is for the exact reason that Jenn showed how to do Blogger, because I'm cutting and pasting this description into, and then I change it somewhat, but I'm cutting and pasting it into my blog post, and so I want people to be able to get back to Google+. So that's why that link is in there, and then I also put in a link to my website where I've got the blog post posted. So those 4 links are put in each time. I'm using a Google shortener, goo.gl is the website, and that allows me to track any activity through these links, which is really nice because I can know whether or not I'm getting traction from certain things. So that's kind of the most important thing. The other thing that you want to make certain is that you've got date information in here, date and time. I cover everywhere in North America when I put in the time, and I also put in a time for England because I have a lot of followers from England, but you know, I've now got Thomas following me, so I may need to start putting in some times for Australia.
That's right.
And so that's a vital piece of info right there. You want to have some hashtags in the description and links to any guests that you have to their Google Plus profiles. That's just common courtesy. At least a plus mention, if not a link to their about page. And I often will cut and paste in the the biography from the About page for the guest that is on the show. So those are some of the things that I think are important when creating your description. You know, a good opener that's going to entice people to watch, the key links, mobile link, Google Plus link, YouTube link, and link to your blog. And then filler information from there, the date, and hashtags.
Awesome. That's great. So I don't know if anyone has any questions about that, but I think that kind of covers our branding, about our business individual branding, and then how the ways to make cover images and different heading images, and making sure that we have the right description in our Hangout. So I don't see any other questions on that, so we can move on.
We're at 12:28.
Oh, well, we're almost. We finished at 12:30.
Yeah, we finish at 12:30. Do we want to jump into something new?
Well, no. Let's start next time. Next time we're going to talk about the difference between a Hangout on Air, so a Google Hangout on Air, and a YouTube Live Hangout. So we're going to talk about the difference, because you know, for a long time I thought they were the same, as they kind of seem to be using the same tool, but they are different. So we're going to dive into that and talk about that. We're also going to be talking about bumpers, and bumpers are movie trailers or little tiny intros that begin at the beginning of your Hangout or your video, and at the end an outro. So we're going to be talking about those. And what else are we going to be talking about? I think, just a couple other tools. We'll dive into those. But yeah, so I don't know if we have any other questions or if we want to bring people in, Dennis.
We've not got a huge audience, honestly, so...
Well, do you have any questions for me on any of the stuff I talked about?
No, I don't think so. I think today was, you know, there was less engagement, but I think the content stayed on track a little tighter.
Mm-hmm.
There was some really good learning in what we covered today.
I think so too, and I even learned some new things.
Good.
Yeah, I'll be tightening up those circles. I'm sure the few more people might be a little upset or wonder, why did you invite me? You know I'm busy working. I have no time for that. Right?
Yep. So. I hear you there.
Awesome.
All right. So we will be back next week, and my guess is that next week is going to be probably our last week. What do you think, Jen?
Yes, I think so. There's only a few more things to cover. Make sure that if you're watching this and you have more things or questions or things that you want to know about Google Hangouts, that you let us know so that we can include that in our book.
Yes, please do. Let us know. The event will be up later today for next week's show, so join in the conversation there, and let us know what you would like to learn before we close down on writing our book.
Awesome. Thanks. We'll see you all next week.
Bye-bye.